It's Monday, August 6th. Fiddling with Jammu and Kashmir's special status will have catastrophic ramifications for the entire country, cautioned former Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti. Tinkering with Article 35A is an assault on the very existence of Jammu and Kashmir, which will never be allowed by its people, warned the separatists. Mainstream parties in the valley are out on the streets. It is in this background that the Supreme Court will hear the challenge to Article 35A that accords special rights and privileges to permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir. What is Article 35A? Article 35A bars anybody who's not a permanent Jammu and Kashmir resident from buying or owning immovable property in the state. It bars non-permanent residents from getting government jobs or aid. The article empowers the Jammu and Kashmir legislature to define the state's permanent residents. So who is a Jammu and Kashmir permanent resident? All those born or settled in Jammu and Kashmir before 1911, or those having lawfully acquired immovable property in the state and has ordinarily been a resident in the state not less than 10 years prior to the date. How did Article 35A come to be? Maharaja Hari Singh, who ruled the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, had defined state subjects through two notifications in 1927 and 1932. These notifications have been relied upon while defining permanent residents in the Jammu and Kashmir Constitution. In October 1947, Maharaja Hari Singh signed the Instrument of Accession. As per the Instrument of Accession, Article 370 was incorporated in the Indian Constitution, which guaranteed special status to Jammu and Kashmir. Central legislative powers over the state were limited to the three subjects of defense, foreign affairs, and communication. Article 35A was incorporated in the Indian Constitution in 1954 under a presidential order. This followed the 1952 Delhi Agreement between Prime Minister Nehru and then Kashmir leader Sheikh Abdullah, which extended Indian citizenship to the state subjects of Jammu and Kashmir. Who are the petitioners in the Supreme Court and what are they contending? An NGO, We the Citizens, has challenged the validity of Article 35A. It argues, among other things, that the article is against the spirit of oneness in India and it creates a class within a class of Indian citizens. Also, restricting Indian citizens from other states from buying property and getting employment in Jammu and Kashmir is violative of fundamental rights. Another petitioner, Charu Wali Khanna, has challenged the provision on the grounds that it restricts the right to property of a Kashmiri woman if she marries a man who is not a permanent resident. Additionally, given that only Parliament is empowered to amend the Constitution, when the President incorporated Article 35A in the Constitution, Parliament was bypassed. What is the apprehension in the valley? One report claims intelligence agencies have warned of a police revolt and unrest in Jammu and Kashmir if the Supreme Court were to give an adverse ruling on Article 35A. There is apprehension that doing away with Article 35A will bring large-scale demographic changes in the Muslim-majority valley, as also that it will eventually erode Jammu and Kashmir's autonomy. The Mumbai police have now said they are probing the matter of the issuance of a police verification report to billionaire fugitive and accused in the Punjab National Bank scam, Mehul Choksi. Here's why. The island nation of Antigua and Barbuda had in a statement said Choksi was granted citizenship there on the basis of a police clearance certificate issued by the Regional Passport Office of Mumbai. The Ministry of External Affairs said that the police clearance certificate was issued by the Passport Office for Antigua and Barbuda on March 16, 2017 on the basis of a clear police verification report available on his passport. The Mumbai police pointed out that the clean chit to Choksi was given at that time because no criminal antecedents were found. This was 10 months before Choksi fled the country, which is to say that the Ministry of External Affairs knew in early 2017 that Choksi had applied for Antiguan citizenship. Yet it was only in the last week of July that Indian authorities came to the realization that Choksi had fled the country and was living as an Antiguan citizen. For the first time in its nearly 7 decades of existence, the Supreme Court will have 3 women judges on the bench simultaneously. Madras High Court Chief Justice Indira Banerjee was elevated to the Supreme Court. She joins Justice Bhanumati and Justice Indu Malhotra, the other 2 sitting women Supreme Court judges. Justice Banerjee is the 8th woman judge in the history of the Supreme Court, a feat only achieved 70 years after independence. Let's look at the near absence of gender diversity in the judiciary in numbers. Women judges make up a mere 10% of the higher judiciary. 8 states don't have a single woman judge, not one. You would think the lower judiciary fares better. No. Of the 15,959 judges in lower judiciary across India, a whopping 11,397 are male judges. Women account for only a little over 27%. This study by Vidhi Center for Legal Policy cites instances of outright bias, quoting prominent judges and lawyers. The former Delhi High Court Chief Justice A.P. Shah described how a woman lawyer he had recommended for judgeship was rejected on the grounds that she was rude, though he believed similar behavior exhibited by a male lawyer would not have been judged as harshly. Venezuela is gripped in tension after an alleged attempt to assassinate socialist president Nicolas Maduro was foiled on Saturday. Maduro was in the middle of a pledge to lead the country towards economic recovery when the apparent drone explosion occurred. The TV broadcast abruptly cuts to the assembly of military personnel who can be seen scattering away. 7 military personnel have been hurt. Speaking to the nation later, Maduro said this was an attack to kill me. He said those intellectually and financially responsible for this attack live in the United States of North America, in Florida. Maduro was re-elected for his second 6-year term in May in an election widely accused of being rigged. Since his re-election, Maduro's popularity has fallen to less than 30% as inflation has spiraled and shortages of food and medicine have grown more acute. Hundreds of soldiers have deserted their posts, dozens have been arrested in connection with alleged coup plots. In January, a dissident intelligence police commander, Oscar Perez, was executed for flying a helicopter over government institutions and throwing grenades in the country's Supreme Court last year. While a group called Soldiers in T-shirts took responsibility for the attacks through a Twitter handle, there is murmur that the attack may have been staged to stoke patriotism, reported the Washington Post. Stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow.